Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for doing this February session, joining us for this intensive practice. I'll just get right to it. I wanted to read from Dogen Zenji's Bendowa. Bendowa is one of his more famous writings, fascicles. I don't know if it counts as a fascicle, maybe. But it's part of his Shobogenzo, I believe. And Bendowa is basically the wholehearted way. And Dogen is a huge fan of Zazen. And since we're doing a lot of that here in Sesshin this weekend, I thought, who better to talk about it than our great ancestor. They call him the father of Soto Zen in Japan. And then his Dharma grandson, Keizan Zenji, is considered the mother of Soto Zen because he kind of broadened access to lay people and women, and kind of did what we're doing here at Sweetwater, really trying to be more inclusive, be more aligned with different kinds of people and cultures and lifestyles. Whereas Dogen was more just sit, drop off. If you don't like it, go away. And there's a lot of power to that. So yeah, let's just get into it. And I'll just, for what it's worth, my Dharma sister Kokyo, who is the second successor of Seisen, she lives in Switzerland, and she was here visiting recently, and she was telling me about her center, and she's basically just running her own small center. And she said, when I do sesshin and stuff, I have to give every talk. And she says basically most of the time she just reads books to people. She'll just read for 30 minutes. And what a beautiful teaching. I think just that in and of itself is, there's already a resource here. It's really good. I'll just share it with people. I just wonder how that translates to my life at large. Right? The instinct is always, I have to make and do something and make it better and put my own spin. But sometimes just take what's already there. Yeah, you can fix a lot that way. So I'll read Dogen and try to add some kind of 2 cents to it. So Bendowa starts, all Buddha Tathagatas together have been simply transmitting wondrous Dharma and actualizing Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, for which there is an unsurpassable, unfabricated, wondrous method. So let's just look at that first sentence. All Buddha Tathagatas. So Buddha Tathagata, he's tricky like that, man, because those are kind of synonyms. It's like saying the sunflower yellow or the granite stone. The Buddha Tathagata. The Buddha is often called the Tathagata. So he's saying that all the Buddha Tathagatas together. So what does that mean? Already, right there, we have a lifetime of work to look into. When we chant the lineage in the morning, maybe you notice that the first 7 names get a clank. It's because those first 7 are the Buddhas of the ancient Kalpas, the ancient eras. And it ends with Shakyamuni, which is the era that we know, the Kalpa that we know. So is that what he's talking about? Those Buddha Tathagatas together There's only 7 of those. What are this all? And they have been simply transmitting. Well, are we all the Buddha Tathagatas? There's a lot of Buddhist literature that says Buddhas and sentient beings are not separate. And in the Gate of Sweet Nectar, we end by chanting, I am the Buddhas and they are me. Do you feel like a Buddha? I don't. All the time, at least. So who are these all Buddha Tathagatas? And together they have been simply transmitting. This is huge. And this Bendo is very short, and so most of this book is commentary from Uchiyama Roshi, who's a prominent teacher in the Soto sect, current, or is he's still alive, right? Uchiyama? Does anyone know? No. Well, sorry, wherever you are. I think he's still alive. Anyway, he spends a lot of time commenting on this simply transmitting. So, this enlightenment, what a big deal. What a big deal that we've been talking about for thousands of years. And we may think that only a few special people really know enlightenment. And yet, here we are talking about just simply transmitting this enlightenment. Simplicity is never a bad thing to lean on in our practice, in our life. It's so easy to make things complicated and grand and special, but really ordinary and simple. That's what Zazen can really help us open up to. Simply transmitting wondrous Dharma. Maybe y'all remember this wondrousness from the precept talks that I give, right? Bodhidharma, his translation of, or his interpretation of the precepts always starts with self is inconceivably wondrous. So yeah, wonder, this wondrous Dharma. And interesting to note, I just did a little bit of reading on the commentary. Wondrous Dharma is like one character, it's like one word. Maybe not one character, but it's interesting when you look into how the kanji are actually written. You kind of get the flavor, like for in English, wondrous Dharma almost seems like an adjective describing the Dharma. But there's this very subtle shift when you see it as like its own entity. Wondrous Dharma. Like a compound noun. And that's what enlightenment is. Just living in wonder. Total wonder. And it's counterintuitive, because in order to survive, in order to assert our identity and feel comfortable and safe, we want to know. We want to be grounded. We want not everything to be wondrous. We want some things to be clear and clean and solid, which is good. I think that's definitely a part of living a healthy life. But from that solid foundation, we have the opportunity to then go deeper and see that it's actually all just vast wonder. It's just a cloud, just fog. all of this. So we're simply transmitting this wondrous Dharma, this fog, and actualizing Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. So Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi is the experience of awakening, the experience of oneness, dropping off body and mind, total becoming just this moment. Samadhi might be another kind of similar word. So interesting that our dedication for this session was embodying samadhi, and here he's talking about actualizing Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. To actualize it. That's why we sit. That's why we talk about the experience of it. Because reading about it, knowing about it, being able to talk about it is not necessarily actualizing. How do I realize, actualize, embody, manifest the oneness, the vastness, the wonder of all existence, the whole universe? And so to do this, he says, there is an unsurpassable, unfabricated, wondrous method. He's really leaning into this wonder as well. But the adjective I really want to focus on is unfabricated. I love that he says that. This is really important because, let's see, what do I want to say? The traditional meditation practice of the Soto sect, which is Dogen's sect, right? He's the father of Soto. The kind of main practice, primary practice that has been passed down is what we call shikantaza. Shikantaza, which I think translates to just sitting. Just sitting. Meaning no method, no meditation, no object of meditation, no goal, no map, no nothing. And in fact, I always say this because it just tickles me so much and just feels good, that on the current Soto Zen website, they have a page for Zazen instruction, and they say, counting your breath or even following your breath is just mind control, and it's not true Zazen. And just think, like, we are in this really interesting time where spirituality and meditation and alternative healthcare and all these different methods that have been around are like pervasive. And so all you need to do is just hop on Instagram for a second and just the plethora of methods, of fabricated ways to feel better, to enter into a state of something, to make your life better, to get the right answer for how to do your career. I mean, just all these different things. And in Buddhism too, right? If you look at Tantric Buddhism, there's all these like crazy visualizations and becoming different gods and deities. I took a course in some Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhism stuff, and it's like breathing in red light through your left nostril and breathing out rainbow light through your right nostril and sending out light to the wisdom beings and chanting seed syllable. I mean, just, you know, just about as fabricated as it gets. And shit, like, maybe that's the best way. I don't know. He kind of goes on and talks about false teachings and wrong ways. He does a lot of that. He kind of throws shade on a lot of contemporary spiritual practices, but we don't need to go into that today. but just to focus on the uniqueness of this unfabricated, wondrous method. Because when you think about just sitting, no method, you're not focusing on your breath, you're not sitting with a koan, you're not deep listening, you're not paying attention to your hara, you're not watching your thoughts go in and out. You are just sitting like a rock, just being a rock. Whether this is truly possible or not, I don't know. It has felt possible to me, but the minute you say, that was it, well, there it's gone. So it's kind of impossible to really nail down. But as a lifelong practice, non-meditation zazen, a lack of anything fabricated, it's a wondrous, wondrous practice. And it's just total invitation. It's just total invitation. Without me, my goals, my ideas, my concepts getting in the way at all. And if your mind's going crazy, 1,000,000 miles an hour, thinking about this and that and this and that, then just be that. See what happens. Instead of trying to wrangle it in and control it. Mind control. It's so funny. For playing freely in this samadhi, practicing zazen in an upright posture is the true gate. So yeah, he puts a lot of emphasis on just assuming this posture. Right? I hope just this flavor of simple. Just sit. Just sit with your back upright. That's it. And he has whole fascicles about how just doing that is enlightenment. There's nothing else. Once you assume this posture, with your back erect, whether it's in a chair, on a cushion, even lying down, just making that intention towards erectness is the depths of enlightenment. It's as deep as you can go, just being this. Although this dharma is abundantly inherent in each person, it is not manifested without practice. It is not actualized without realization. Yeah, so of course we are inherently Buddha. We are inherently, innately, just as we are, totally awakened. And when the dedication came out to, of embodying samadhi, at least where I'm at in my practice, is you're never not. It's actually impossible to not be embodying samadhi right now. And if you're sleeping, you are embodying sleeping samadhi. And when you're in zazen, totally just clear and open, then that's the samadhi. And when you're obsessed with the problem in your life, you're in obsession samadhi. 100%. As soon as we start making these when I do this and my mind's like that, that's not practice, that's not Buddha. But when I'm able to chill and just and do this, and I look like this, and I feel like this, that's Buddha. That's when we get in trouble. That's when we start labeling things and have concepts of how things should be. So this zazen of just sitting allows us to see everything as samadhi, inherently. It's just hard to manifest that without that practice. Oh, this is nice. He says, when you let go, the Dharma fills your hands. Isn't that nice? It's so simple. When you let go, the Dharma fills your hands. It's almost like that famous metaphor of the teacup, right? The student comes in and he's all arrogant and he knows everything, and the teacher just like pours tea into a teacup continuously so that it spills out everywhere. And he says, you're like this. You come in all full and you can't receive anything. So when we let go and we come with not knowing, and we come open with a sense of wonder, then everything preaching the Dharma in every moment is filling our cup. That's the other thing I wanted to say about the first words, all Buddha Tathagatas. Yeah, it's the folks in the lineage, it's all of us, and it's the fountain running right now, and this book, and the air we breathe. Everything transmitting Dharma constantly. And the more open and free I get of my own desires, concepts, and attachments, the more I see everything preaching the Dharma at me. Seisan talked about that koan last weekend about master, right? He calls master, yes, And one of the teachers I used to work with talked about this koan. When he was working on this koan, or when he teaches this koan, he can hear everything saying master and responding. The fountain is calling master. The altar is calling master. And answering, yes. When we let go, the Dharma fills our hands. I'm not saying it's easy. Oh man, I hold on so tightly to so many things, consciously or not. So that's why we keep coming back. Let go, let go, let go. When you try to speak, it fills your mouth. So there's different ways to see that. But I'll just say that it's constantly manifesting. Everything you say is perfect Dharma. Wondrous, wondrous. Even if it's a mistake, even if it's wrong, even if it's inaccurate, even if it's hurtful to someone. It is Buddha manifesting. And when we see it like that, that's how we can learn. That's how we can be filled by it. So that's a good practice. Think of the person you hate when they talk the most. I think we can all think of one we might have in common. And to hear everything that they say as Buddha's words. When it's wrong or harmful, how do we react? Differently from if we see it as the devil's words. I don't know. Maybe it's better to see it as the devil's words. Dogen doesn't seem to think so. Buddhas continuously dwell in and maintain this Dharma, yet no trace of conceptualization remains. That always really troubled me for a long time in my practice. Like, what does that mean to embody the state of Buddhahood but have no concept of it? No trace of enlightenment remains. That's another famous Dogen quote. How's that possible? And I thought of an interesting metaphor today that I'm not sure if it matches up perfectly, but for whatever it's worth, it's kind of like we all talk with an American accent, but we have no idea. I guess not all, you're right, not all of us. When we're with our people, we are not aware that we have an accent. And then as soon as we go somewhere else, all of a sudden people are saying, you have an accent. And so this kind of constantly manifesting Buddhahood with no concept of it is kind of like that, I think. I 100% am speaking with an accent right now. But because the majority of people in my life also have this accent, I don't have any idea that I'm speaking with an accent. I don't know. Chew on that. That might make sense. It might not. I don't know. Anyway, looks like we're at time. So as you can see, just a few sentences of Dogen is a lifetime of things to chew on. And so I encourage everyone to try this shikantaza, even if just for a period. What could that possibly be? Just sitting. No method, no effort, no destination. Just be this. And see what happens.